How's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So what I want to call today's podcast is Design Your Lifestyle. Did that come through clear enough? Design your lifestyle. Hopefully that one came through better. Because I've been doing some podcasts lately on really trying to help people live really a good life affordably. And no one really ever showed me this. I think a lot of people either preached on how to save money or kind of be cheap, which aggravated me, especially people talking about coupons or trying to get shit for free or all that type of shit. And I'll just speak for myself. I think a lot of times when I heard people saying, living affordably, live within your means, I'm like, you just don't make enough money to live the lifestyle you want to lead. That's kind of how I looked at things, which was actually quite ridiculous. I've realized, especially over the COVID thing, that a lot of people are, either losing a lot of money, losing their jobs, don't have the lifestyle they once had, which is understandable, obviously. But I am going to say I don't think a lot of people realize that they can have really a great life if they learned how to design it. A lot of people I know that are very artistic are really great at creating things and designing things. But the one component I realized a lot of times is their own lives. They can't seem to, create the life that they want. One is, I think sometimes it's because, and I'm not going to say it's entirely unrealistic, but it's going to take a lot of time maybe to get there. And by you realizing it could take 1 month, it could take 10 years sometimes, depending on what your goals are. What do you do in the meantime? Really, what are you going? Are you going to live like a pulper or somebody who's broke your entire life with the hopes that one day, say you're an actor, you make it when less than 99% of the actors in the world survive off of that? And I'm not saying you won't make it. Say you're a writer. I don't care if you're a director. I don't care if you're starting your own business. I don't care what you do. You can still design a lifestyle for you that's affordable and fun. You don't always have to be, I guess you could say, a starving artist or a starving entrepreneur. And I know there's all these stories that are great and they're wonderful. But if you really go back to a lot of great legends, I guess, in business, and believe me, I'm not a business guy, and they talk, and I've talked about this before, them starting off in a garage, and then they're worth billions of dollars. That is wonderful. But what I do think about those guys, as much as they sacrificed, I still think they designed a lifestyle that worked for them to keep carrying them to succeed. I don't always see people doing that. I think a lot of people will help or create maybe something, a business, let's say, or whatever they're creating. They're designing that and being very specific in wanting it to succeed and putting all this time and effort into it. And some succeed, a majority don't. Just call it for what it is. But regardless if you succeed or you don't succeed, you still have your life. You have to understand this is all you have. And what I've realized knowing so many people throughout my life is a lot of people lose a lot of time. And I'm one of these people to a certain degree. And I wasted a lot of times. But if I look back at it, I liked a lot of things I did. Some things I would have changed. But I did learn so much about who I am and what my strengths and weaknesses are because I become very self-aware of who I am. And I don't think a lot of others do. And I'm really, and this is not a dig on a lot of people. I'll just go back to artists. I know so many of them. And they were always kind of caught up with, almost thinking they have to sacrifice everything. It's all or nothing. I get that. If you want to be that dude or that woman or whoever that artist, God bless you, go run with it. And, I get there's no plan B and there's no looking back. Hey, wonderful, go with it. But I don't care about any of that shit. Because the truth is you still have to take care of your health. Okay, you have to take care of yourself. If you have a family, I got a newsflash, you're most likely going to have to take care of your family. You may have to help friends here and there. I'm not putting all the responsibility on you. But I was somebody who got so focused and obsessed with making films, let's say, that it took a toll on everything in my life. And I thought that the payoff was going to be, oh, I'm going to eventually make it in the film industry, and then I'm going to have all this money, and then everybody else is going to be happy because I made all this money, and with all this money, I'm going to make them happy. That's not how it works, I can assure you. Okay, I'm just telling you right now. A lot of people won't even give a fuck that you made a ton of money because it's not their money. Okay, and a lot of people may not even care that you're succeeding on doing what you're doing because it's not what they're doing. They may be happy for you, but don't think if you're married, and this isn't a dig, maybe your wife or your husband or whatever, they may love you succeeding, right? And of course, if you make a ton of money, they're going to, maybe you're going to take care of them as well. Your kids too, to a certain degree. Yeah, that's wonderful. But a lot of times you're not going to make it. Okay, then what? Right? And how many, again, years is it going to take for you to make it? And then again, you don't realize, like, if just because you're making more money, that's usually a lot more stress, okay? And by, doing all these things, you sometimes have an unrealistic approach on what it's going to be like when you get to the final phase of that. I can assure you then the reality of it. Because like I just was saying earlier, not only money, who are you going to be when you hit a certain point in your life? You don't even know what that is because you're not going through it. But in our heads, we're thinking, oh my God, if I'm making, back to films, if I'm making Hollywood films, I'm making millions of dollars, everything's going to be peaches and cream. I can assure you it's not. So my point being, let's go back to designing your own life. Kind of sit back, and I tell people this, learn to just relax, figure out who the fuck you are, how you really want your life, kind of. And I get if you want to be a multimillionaire and you want Ferraris in a gated community and you want a huge home and all that, and you're going to take nothing less, hey, wonderful, go after it. Keep going. Go, go, go. But here's the thing. Again, in the meantime, because that may take years and years and years, because most likely it is going to take years and years. I doubt you're going to become a multimillionaire in a year. I can assure you, I know you see websites, I'm sure you see documentaries and movies, and in an hour and a half, the guy goes from nothing, and then he's a multimillionaire. If you're a tech dude, all of a sudden you're worth, you sell your app for $1 billion. It's so minute, really, on who really goes through that. But again, create the life you want right now, especially if you're over your head financially. Maybe you need to back up. Your car payments may be too much money. You may be spending too much money going out. I've been there. I still kind of do this shit off and on. I'm telling you, are you spending stupid money here and there, chasing women, whatever the case may be? If you just designed your life where you could just settle in and kind of relieve a lot of all this bullshit stress or anxiety to a certain degree, and get in a comfortable place, that's going to be much better, I believe, when going after your dream. Because I think a lot of people going after their dream just stress themselves out to death. They lie to themselves. They almost mislead themselves. And they also are miserable because they haven't succeeded yet. And I was one of them. If I wasn't doing something, I looked at myself as a failure if I didn't get to some place that I believed I belonged. But what was interesting with me is the more I started to go down the journey, the more I felt like I didn't belong. And then where do I go? So say back to films, I thought, I even moved to California, and then you're hanging out in LA, and I'm like, the more I'm going in deeper and deeper and hanging out with people in the industry, I'm like, wow, this isn't where I belong. I truly am an independent filmmaker. I was not a guy who belonged in Hollywood at that point in time, probably not ever, to a certain degree. I mean, maybe. But what I thought I was, and what a lot of people thought I was, slowly but surely, I wasn't that person. So I started to get lost. And I had to step back and say, you know what, it's time for me to just design the life I want now and be comfortable in it, and then figure out maybe I do need to make changes, and maybe I want to, pivot and go here and try this and experiment with this, not be so caught up with having some type of approach that is just not working for me, especially if you've been in the game a long time. I think a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be my year. It's going to be my year. How many times you hear that? It's going to be my year. Why can't right now be your year? And again, you may not have all the things you want, but I can assure you could probably come close or live something, very comfortable, I guess you could say, and still enjoy your life, even if you haven't succeeded to the level that you want to, I guess is what I'm saying. That does not mean sell yourself short. That does not mean give yourself a pass. I hope I'm being very clear. But what I am telling you to do is sit back and kind of understand you have a life right now. Live it to the fullest. You may not even get another day. You may pass away. You could get in an accident. And no one ever thinks nothing's going to happen to them till it does. If you're healthy right now, Design a wonderful life. It may take a few months. It could take a year. But I'm telling you, the more clarity you get within your own life, the more clear I think you're going to be when going after your goals and dreams. That's just my advice. So I'll wrap it up there. You get a chance, check out my YouTube channel, Rich CELENZA. I've been doing a lot of fitness stuff on there. I'm not going to bullshit. More related to fitness and the gym stuff. But yeah, I used to travel all over North America, going to all my favorite different restaurants, coffee houses, malls, bunch of crazy shit. You might want to check that out as well. But it kind of converted more into fitness lately, helping people lose weight, gain muscle, or even just taking an honest approach, regardless if you work out or not. And I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All right? All right. Take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.